to introduce Xavier Orr. He's our CEO and co-founder of Advanced Navigation.
Thanks, Laura. Welcome everyone here today. We're really excited to show you what we've got. So we'll step into it. I'll give you a quick overview of Advanced Navigation to begin with. Alright, so Advanced Navigation, our mission is to be the catalyst of the Autonomy Revolution. And catalyst is something to drive change. The Autonomy Revolution is something that's been happening for about the last... it's been happening over the last 20 years. We've slowly been seeing more and more autonomous systems coming into our lives. A few great applications and where Advanced Navigation is operating is in the driverless cars and semi-autonomous car space, where new features on cars really increase the safety of the roads. Another great application is emergency services, where we're seeing drones enter the space and really improve the response times of emergency services. And the third one would be the medical sector, where autonomy is allowing doctors to treat more patients and provide better healthcare. So Advanced Navigation, we're one of the world's most ambitious innovators in AI, robotics and navigation technology. And so just to give you some background on where the company came from, in 2008, I just finished 3 years of AI research at university, and I was looking at the Kalman filter. And now the Kalman filter is something that exists in everyone's everyday life, but you never see it. So it's in everything from your smartphone to your car to devices around your house. Anything where there's a sensor, there has a tendency to be a Kalman filter. And the last major update to the Kalman filter was done in 1967. So I did my thesis on the application of AI neural network to replace the Kalman filter. And that technology was really successful. So allowed us to achieve 10 times more accuracy. And that's what Advanced Navigation was founded on. And we've used the technology across a whole heap of different applications. And that's all made in-house in Australia. So these are some of the exciting applications that our technology is used in. So on the top left, you see the Amazon's driverless trucks. So there's now 1,000 of these in operation in the US, carrying goods across the US, and they're deploying quickly. A new application that's set to change the way we travel is the aerial taxi. So we're in a range of aerial taxi platforms worldwide. Windesco Turbines is a large wind turbine company across the US and Europe, and we're empowering their wind turbines to harness the wind energy more efficiently. We're working with Surf Life Saving Queensland and New South Wales in collaboration with Little River to do beach management and shark detection and helping swimmers in trouble. And then the last one is the Indy Autonomous Races happening in the US, where our technology powers the driverless F1 cars. And so today I'm here to introduce you to a revolutionary innovation to restore oceans.
Covering 72% of the Earth and supplying half its oxygen, the ocean is our life support system. It is fundamentally important to every human and home to some of the most diverse marine life on this planet, and it's in danger. Pollution, global warming, and the uptake of carbon dioxide are all major threats. So, how do we protect it? The first step is knowledge. Humans know less about the ocean than the surface of Mars. To understand it better, we need to gather large amounts of oceanographic data. However, underwater inspections are extremely expensive. They require large vessels, complex machinery, and qualified crew. Developing technology that can withstand ocean conditions is extremely challenging. It must withstand tremendous pressure with no access to the internet or GPS. That's where Hydrus comes in, a fully autonomous drone that makes underwater data capture simple and affordable, operational straight out of the box, with no training required. Its intuitive software allows anyone to plan and execute underwater missions with ease. Developed with an open platform in mind, Users could run their own software with ample processing power available for intensive AI applications. Its small size and weight means it can be launched by a single person and taken as carry-on when flying. Hydrus represents a leap forward in performance with the most advanced sonar navigation and communication systems. This technology allows Hydrus to cut the tether and navigate autonomously. It can avoid obstacles and even adjust the mission plan to go back to a specific location if the data captured wasn't clear. It's equipped with a cinema-grade camera combined with an AI engine to analyze image quality on the fly. As an all-in-one solution, Hydrus is affordable and can effectively replace survey vessels, complex underwater vehicles, and professional divers. Its connectorless design makes for the most reliable and low-maintenance subsea robot on the market. But attractive pricing and compact size doesn't mean it's skipping out on features. Hydrus is engineered with revolutionary hardware, including an acoustic modem, EX screen, AI-powered navigation system, 4K 60 FPS camera, forward-facing sonar, and hubless thrusters. Whether it's monitoring the underwater assets, building maps of ocean heritage sites, inspecting offshore wind farms, or performing object classification, Hydrus will be instrumental in building a stronger, more sustainable ocean for us all. Hydrus, the drone revolution underwater.
We'd like to introduce you now to Hydrus. So Hydrus is the drone revolution underwater. So the ocean is an extremely challenging environment. You have tremendous pressure. It's up to 300 times more pressure than we have here on the surface of the Earth. There's no internet, Wi-Fi, or GPS because radio waves don't work underwater. And there's very little light past about 20 to 30 meters. So the only way you can communicate is through sound. And this makes it very difficult and makes underwater data capture very expensive, unreliable, and difficult. And on the right here, you see some of the typical platforms that are in use. And these require large ships with custom designed equipment and experienced crews to operate. It's regular to lose these kinds of assets and you may not get the data that you need. So Hydrus is set to change all of that.
Could you try again?
And so the inspiration came from the aerial drone market. So I guess over the last 15 years, we've seen a real revolution in the aerial drones. So 15 years ago, they were really like scientists and engineers were operating them. They were really unreliable, really difficult to use, and really unaffordable. And over the last 15 years, that's all changed. And now today, everyone from real estate agents are using them to survey homes, to construction sites are using them to continuously monitor their construction progress, and even children are using them. So with Hydrus, we wanted to achieve the same thing. The drone revolution underwater, making drones underwater affordable, reliable, and easy to use. So the ocean health is critical to life on Earth. More than 40% of the carbon dioxide we generate is absorbed by the ocean, and more than 50% of the oxygen we breathe is generated by the ocean. And the ocean's in a critical health status. The UN has declared this decade the decade of the ocean to try and resolve the issues going on. And that's where Hydrus can come in. So the first step to fixing things is collecting data so that we can understand them. So Hydrus is a new approach to restoring oceans. It has the most advanced sonar navigation and communication systems of any underwater vehicle, even those big ones that you saw a few slides back. This allows it to be fully autonomous, no tether, and it can do things like avoid obstacles, go around marine life, and habitats without damaging anything. It has an extremely simple user experience. It's basically point and click on the map, similar to drones, aerial drones that you may operate these days. It's also small and portable, where you can just throw it over over the side of any boat or off a dock, it will go and run its mission, come back, and you fish it out of the water with a net. It also contains a cinema-grade 4K 60 frames per second camera to capture stunning imagery and video data. So there's over 10 years of research that's gone into Hydrus, and this lists some of the subsystems that it contains. I won't go into too much detail on these, but I'm happy to chat through them with anyone who would like to afterwards. Hydrus will revolutionise the way we gather data to deepen our knowledge and understanding of the ocean. One of the great applications is monitoring coral reef. So right now, we've just had a major bleaching event on the Great Barrier Reef. The first thing to understanding and stopping those kinds of events going forward is capturing data, and Hydrus is ideal for that. It's able to fly over the top of reefs without hitting the reef. It can keep its altitude and fly across. It can also avoid any marine life and can not cause any damage. Inspecting underwater infrastructure, so it's ideal for things like wind turbines, anything in the water really, like bridge footings, there's moorings and all sorts of things. Building maps of World Heritage Sites, so here you can see a 3D model that Hydrus collected of the Ningaloo Reef just recently. And identifying marine life. So Hydrus can do things with its advanced AI, like identify different fish types and count them, so you can detect changes in the number of marine life. It can also identify hazardous species like the crown of thorns starfish that you see here, which are currently being a major problem on the Great Barrier Reef. Hydrus will be instrumental in building a stronger, more sustainable ocean for us all. Thank you. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to chat.
Did you think of taglining, getting the tagline "Hail Hydrus," or was Marvel going to be giving you a hard time about that?
Yeah, we definitely should have.
Yeah. And what about lasers, so you can kill those crown of thorn starfish? Yeah. Future versions,
That's volume number 2.
Volume 2, that's it.
We are in chats at the moment on things like that.
How do you recharge it?
So when we get to the venue, you'll see Hydrus's dock. So Hydrus has a dock which it can come in and out of. That can be installed on the seafloor, and when it goes in its dock, it can recharge. But it's wireless charging, so it's the same technology used on smartphones, but scaled up a bit.
And so you talk about a 9-kilometre range. What's the battery life in hours or minutes?
So it's 100 watt hours, so it's the maximum that you can take on an aeroplane.
But I mean, how long does it go for underneath the underwater?
So your typical mission will be 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So what type of battery is it?
Lithium iron phosphate.
How much did it weigh? Sorry.
I think it's 6 kilos.
And so what's it made of? Just plastics?
Yeah, so actually the exterior, not this particular one, this has been made to look nice. But the exterior is actually made from recycled ocean plastic. The shell, and then the interior is syntactic foam and polyurethane.
And you're making it all here in Sydney?
It's made between Sydney and Perth.
Right.
And so, what does it cost to buy one of these drones?
So they're 55,000 Australian. And so look, I guess that might seem expensive, but the other systems that are on the market that can do what this can do are generally $500,000 plus, and then you need the vehicle to be able to deploy it and the staff. So we've packed a huge amount of technology into this, to allow it to do things way more cheaply.
And things like colours, branding, time to market. How long does it take to make one? And can you make it to spec?
Yeah, so I guess there's a few pre-release customers, one of which we'll be meeting today, which is Ningaloo, and they're using it for ocean research, but for general availability is September.
And is that the model, direct sales?
Direct sales and leasing, yeah.
And can you build a lightweight but durable little shark cage around it? Give it a try.
Yeah, we can try. Yeah.
Yeah. Good footage.
And often with mobile phones, you have a recharge capacity for the battery, like 500 cycles or 1,000. So presumably this will have the same sort of issues with the battery. Over time, it'll get weaker. So is it easy for you guys to replace the battery?
Yeah, the battery can be replaced.
But it'll be more than Apple's $99, right? For their.
It will be, yeah. Because to
Yeah.
put a lithium
No,
battery
it would be a
underwater
much bigger battery
with
too.
the pressure, you need to do some fancy stuff to it.
There's no side scan in this, is there?
There is downward facing sonar. yeah.
Downward only,
Yeah.
but not side scan.
There's forward facing and downward facing.
And it mentions there's an acoustic modem. So is that how it talks to the computer back on your boat?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a few ways to use it. You can either use it just like with no communication back and just toss it in the water, it runs a mission and comes back. Or you can have a modem in the water and then you have constant communication using sonar.
Is there recording sound down there?
Yeah, it can record sound as well. Yeah.
Sorry, no.
What kind of training do the operators need?
Training, you can pretty much operate it out of the box. It's similar to like the drones that you would buy, like an aerial drone, where like you can just use the app and click points on the map, toss it off the jetty, and it will go. So yeah, I think you pretty much could do it without any training.
And I was going to say the size. Have you just got it as small as you possibly can, or is it scalable? Because
so this is the absolute smallest we can get it,
you can
and then
scale.
from here we can scale. We can scale up.
Right.
Yeah, for like longer endurance and things like that.
Yeah. Is that on the business plan?
Yeah, that is on the cards. Yeah.
What about depth? Because I think with the ocean, depth is a major issue.
Yeah, so this one goes 3,000 meters deep, and then future versions will go deeper than that. Because there's actually no air cavities in this, it's all like solid. It is actually one of the easier challenges for this technology.
And it must have some sort of sensor so that if it knows it's got limited battery life, it just comes to the top because it won't float. It needs to be propelled.
Yeah, so it will never
Sink to the bottom.
Yeah, it will never let its battery get too low that it can't return home.
Yeah. And are the motors strong enough? I mean, what if there's a strong current that sort of pops up out of
Yeah,
nowhere?
so you can battle currents of like up to 6 knots, which is pretty rare to encounter that. So it can get through pretty much any currents.
Has the guy from Avatar, has he called, James Cameron, has he called you yet? Does he know? Or is he going to find out tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, we'll get a report.
We have a bit of interest from filmmakers.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Have you got competitors out there? I mean,
This is, I would say, there's nothing quite like this size that has these capabilities. The only other things would be those big systems, like what I showed in the slide deck. So yeah, I think this is kind of like it's a bit of a different market, really.
You talked about the AI on it. What is machine learning doing?
So machine learning is doing the alternative to the Kalman filter. That it allows it to navigate with a lot more accuracy than it normally would.
Is it trained to do that, like understanding what currents are and?
Yeah, it uses a physics model.
So you've used an off-the-shelf algorithm for it?
That's the one that I did in my thesis.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, and then that's applied to sonar as well. So the same algorithm is used to measure errors on the sonar system to really improve the sonar.
And the amount of patents you've got around this?
So a lot of it is trade secret. There's a couple of things like mechanical that we're patenting, but any of the software or algorithms, it's better to do trade secret there.
Fair enough.
But yeah, the mechanical things like the thrusters, we're working on patenting at the moment.
Nothing around the design?
No, nothing around the actual shape.
It doesn't look like what I'd suggested it would.
Yeah, he was kind enough to mention he was expecting a sex toy.
Anyone who has one of those looks like that.
I assured him it was different, so I hope it's
And then
met
pleasantly
expectations.
surprised.
So there's just one camera, is there?
Yeah, there's one camera on the front. So the unit actually like changes to keep the camera on whatever it needs to look at. So it will change its like orientation and position to hold on whatever it needs to hold on.
That's a good
Is
point.
it available to have extra cameras?
Yeah.
Not on this model, but when we grow bigger, then you could visualize it.
You mentioned like the identification of the crown of thorns. So if a researcher wanted to focus the AI on certain species, like how does that happen? How do they program it to
Yeah, so I guess it's an open platform, so they can load whatever software they want onto it and run whatever software. So they could train some AI to recognise like crown of thorns, starfish, and then it will go and like do that, and then say like they want to count the crown of thorns, starfish, and locate, so it can go away and run those missions. Yeah, we're in chats with Great Barrier Reef, a foundation up there at the moment on an application like that.
And how much storage is in it to capture all that video?
256 gigabytes.
And you can run a fleet of these, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I guess, you know, if you want to cover a large area, you can run a whole heap of them in parallel, and they can all run sort of like they're running a swarm mission together.
So you could run a swarm mission on these. Are they, so a bit like a drone swarm, you program each drone individually, you would program these individually, and then they can run a mission all together?
You could do that, or you could use the acoustic, the modem technology to like do them synchronized all together. And they can talk to each other underwater as well.
I might just end Q&A so we have a bit of time to enjoy, but Xavier's also here for the whole night. So if any questions, definitely come up to him, ask. But yeah, after this we'll be going to the venue where we have a really exciting panel for you guys to meet and hear all about. So until then, enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.